Pastor, I've been hoping for vocal pushback from cultural leaders against these insane vaccine mandates. And when I say cultural leaders, I'm not just talking about politicians, obviously. I mean actors and athletes. I mean professors. I'm business leaders. I want another segment of the population besides the right-wing base to step up and say, this is unjust and wrong. And I'll play a video for you here. I'm sure you've seen it. I did not see this coming from some NBA players, and yet here it is.
What is it about the vaccine that makes you hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving. I don't believe that being unvaccinated means infected, or being vaccinated means uninfected. You can still catch COVID with or without not having the vaccine.
I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right?
I don't know when Bradley Beal became more knowledgeable about viruses than Dr. Fauci, and yet here we are, Pastor. And look, any port in a storm, I'm thrilled we have some public figures who matter, those voices matter, stepping up and bringing some sanity out here.
Yeah, and this exposes the hypocrisy of the left. They have those slogans, my body, my choice, and to them, pro-choice only applies to killing babies. But when it comes to a matter of what I want to be introduced into my bloodstream, they want to take that choice away. A number of these NBA players are stepping up, saying, and a number of them, another one came out earlier that plays for the Denver Nuggets. He said, look, I had COVID twice. And so by that logic, I should be have a reasonable amount of antibodies built up in my bloodstream that I can resist it. And, some people don't want to get the jab. I think it's their choice. It should be their personal choice. Now, here we are on the right. We will crucify those guys for taking a stance out of one breath, and then we will lionize them out of another breath. Nicki Minaj is another example. You had a number of black, quote unquote, conservative influencers that said she was a bad role model. Her genre was a bad role model for the black community. But the minute she said that you should be able to choose whether you want the vaccine or not, all of a sudden she was called a queen. And the same is with these NBA players, and the NBA itself, it prides itself on being a social advocate for the rights of blacks and the rights of people, a social rights activist organization. That's why they plastered their courts with Black Lives Matters and all that. But now they want to deny NBA players the right to not get vaccinated. And they're instituting these policies coming up that are similar to apartheid, segregation, Jim Crow. Like, your lockers have to be somewhere away from the vaccinated people's lockers. You can't eat with the vaccinated. You have to stay in your room while the vaccinated get to go outside. If the vaccinated are vaccinated, then what do they have to worry about catching it? Now, all of a sudden, when I was growing up, we had to get vaccinations when I was a kid, Jesse. The vaccination was to prevent you from acquiring this disease. Now they're saying, well, this vaccination doesn't prevent you from acquiring it. It simply makes the symptoms less severe. Well, heck, if that's the case, I can get some zinc for a cold, and it'll make the symptoms less severe. NyQuil, Dayquil, anything, any cold medicine makes the symptoms less severe. And so this entire narrative is dumb. It's dumb. First, they said the vaccination would inoculate us against the virus. Now they're saying so many people with the vaccination that get it anyway. Now it doesn't inoculate. It simply lessens the severity. That's nonsense.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.